Critics argue the 49ers' wide zone offense and wide nine defense are becoming predictable. Last season, they attempted to incorporate fresh concepts like Brandon Staley's simulated pressures and his expertise. What new elements should the team explore to modernize their schemes and stay competitive on both sides of the ball? I know that you want to talk about the wide nine, so get into it.
Yeah, the wide nine. Like the Niners need to give us a good reason why they're sticking with it at this point. They brought it in 2019, and I think the thought process then at that point was like, all right, we have 4 first-round picks on the D-line in Bosa, Buckner, Armstead, Ford. Like this can really supercharge all that talent and give them a little bit more space to work, and it's harder to double team the edge guys. And anyway, like you have to double team Buckner and Armstead in the middle, and it's going to free up Bosa and Ford on the edge. Like that's kind of the thought process. Now it's like you don't have that talent in the defensive line, and so the wide nine almost seems to be like making it worse than it is. Like if you just have a bunch of bodies, then you kind of want to like group them together and have them work together so that there's not so much space in between them. And now like they're awful against their run. Their pass rush is their 4-man rush is nothing special. You're like begging Nick Sorensen or whoever the defensive coordinator is to bring extra pressure and put 8 in the box to stop the run. I just don't understand what you're gaining from it. And unless they can add a bunch of first-round talent to that D-line now, I think they should probably consider scrapping it because they're also looking for a defensive coordinator, and most guys wouldn't want to work with that. It just limits your options. And I don't understand why they need to do that at this point.
I agree. For me, it's the offensive line. They don't value it. They don't put any type of initiative into it. And quite frankly, I think that we ask questions when the truth is like literally staring us in the face. We're absolutely horrible in the red zone this season. And one of the reasons why we were bad in the red zone this season is that we didn't have Christian. Because Christian was basically, he was a space eater. He definitely was a great decoy in tight spaces down in the red zone. Pause. He was also a weapon himself, good in pass catching out of the backfield into the flat, whip routes, China routes, getting into shallow defenses and getting into shallow areas of the field. And he was just a cheat code. And also on top of the fact of opening up everybody else. And when you don't have that, then you kind of get back to the original sin of this offense. And that's how bad this offensive line is. And to be honest with you, the wrinkle that we need in this offense, if we didn't change anything with this offense, literally anything, meaning that Kyle called the same plays, all right, the same guys got on the field. If we just had a better offensive line, we would be immensely better as a team. As far as the red zone is concerned,
how much it can improve everything. You're like not just the quarterback, but the running back. Look at Barkley.
Look at what one good offensive lineman did for us. Like just a rookie, right? It is
like Philly. All of a sudden, Saquon Barkley. It's like, oh yeah, you really are a generational running back that everyone thought you were coming out of Penn State. Like, yeah, you're a Hall of Famer. Oh, right. It matters.
You are a once in a lifetime player.
Yeah. Like, hey, New York, what were you freaking thinking, man? Like, it's like the Giants couldn't figure it out with Barkley. The Colts couldn't figure it out with Andrew Luck. You have these generational talents, and all you needed was to take that one position seriously, and you didn't. You had him like for like 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah. Right now, you got fullbacks that are making more than 4 starters on the offensive line collectively. You've got, come on, that's crazy.
Shouldn't be making more money than your right tackle. Juszczyk shouldn't be making more money than your center. These are veterans on their second contracts. No.
Come on, man. You can't have 2 receivers that add up to $50 million per a year, and these guys are making more money than your collective offensive line. Like that just does not make sense. I understand the Bengals
paying like that because you don't run the ball and you want to throw the ball 40 times a game. So spend $50 million a year on your wide receivers and lose. But you want to throw the ball 27 times a game. So what are you spending all that money on receivers for? It puts too much pressure to pass. You really like your winning game script is running as much as possible, and you poured all your money into passing. Smart.
Yeah, I just don't understand that. And for the red zone, I'm tired of Kyle calling around the offensive line. Like half of what he's doing where we don't understand why he's calling pass plays all the time is because we can't run. We cannot run. The reason why we are struggling in the red zone. Yeah. The reason why we're struggling in the red zone and that we can't close out drives is that we can't simply get in I formation, turn around, and give the ball to the running back without him getting blocked in the backfield. We cannot
one
block.
Of the dumbest things I've heard is that people are like, Mason isn't a goal line back. No, it's the offensive line. Are you kidding?
Right.
Put Mason in Philly. Look, what do you think it would look like?
Yeah.
Did you know that Philly has Ty Davis Price and Trey Sermon? Did you know that?
They have them both?
Both.
They like tough runners.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, the guys were tough runners.
Like, those running backs didn't work. Well, let's try them over here with a good offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and then honestly, you got to look at it like this. When Christian went off last year, let's hold on, man. I got a PSA. Hey, listen up, man. When Christian had his offensive player of the year performance, our offensive line was still trash. They were still bad. If you even look at the film, you could see Christian making them right, basically. Cutting on the dime, understanding exactly like, okay, we're going to run to Trenton George's side. Do you remember the time where we literally could not run to the right side? That was just not a thing.
The time, it was years.
Yeah, like we just can't do it. And they have to start taking it seriously. They have to get a better right tackle. I'm serious. Cole McKivitz is cool for what it's worth, but he's not a starter. All right.
Cole McKivitz would maybe be a right guard for the Eagles, but he would never play tackle for that team.
The thing that's crazy about this is that Colton McKivitz even knows that he's not a starter. You know why? Because he took the money. If Cohn McKivitz truly believed that he was a starter in the NFL, he would have looked at that $7 million and be like, this is a joke, right? This is a joke. He was happy to take that $7 million.
Breaking news from Adam Schefter. Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohn is taking himself out of the running for the Jaguars head coaching job to stay in Tampa on a new contract that will now place him amongst the highest paid coordinators in the NFL per sources. First off, instant reaction to that.
What does that mean for Robert Saleh?
Well, real quick, I just want to say, I want to applaud the Bucs for doing that. There absolutely is no salary cap on coaches. You can pay these coordinators as much as you want. I like that they just wrote a blank check. I mean, how much don't you think the Falcons wish they had done that to Kyle Shanahan in 2016? Like, you could give him $10 million to be an offensive coordinator. There's no rule against it. So good for them. It's nice to see a team have some continuity. This definitely means that Saleh's in play. Because I think what this means is no one wants to work with Trent Baalke. Who would have freaking thunk? And so the question is, would Saleh want to? I think he might.
I think this also shows that Todd Bowles may be on the hot seat too. I think there's no way that you pay a coordinator that much if you're not looking at Todd Bowles to get up out of there pretty soon. So
one more thing. I think people are waiting around for Cliff Kingsbury. Even though he failed ultimately
with the Commanders.
Arizona, I think you look at like Kyler without Cliff, he's still kind of the same Kyler, inconsistent. Cliff goes to the Commanders. He's
Jaden Daniels.
He does such a good job. Maybe it's all Jaden, and maybe Cliff is the same Cliff, but I think teams might be looking at him and waiting around for him. I don't know how I feel about Cliff because I thought he was the worst coach ever, and now I'm like, man, maybe I don't know football anymore. Maybe I
didn't think he was a coach at all. Did you see the what was that? The show where they like looked at his house inside of like the he lives like a Bond villain. Like that's not a football coach's home.
No,
he lives in like a museum.
Coordinator's home. It's an offensive coordinator's home. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I was like, dude, he lives like a serial killer. You don't have anything in there.